Okay, this topic is requested. I hesitated when I came across it, to be honest. I never talk about the US because, humbly speaking, I don't feel like having the credibility to talk about a country where I've only lived for 5 years. But on the other hand, the American culture played a huge role in my growth. Plus, it's a free country. Everybody has the right to speak what's on their mind, no matter how dumb it is. Shit, I'm being too wordy, because, I'm still a little nervous. Anyway, fuck it. The first time I experienced something unpleasant was only a few days after my first arrival in the US. Iowa City, Iowa, a country ass town where 80% of the population were college studs back in 2011. I was crossing the street while my girlfriend at the time holding and attaching to my arm. A black guy was crossing from the other side. Right before we were about to pass by each other, he gave me the middle finger. I was not sure if it was racism or not, but that feeling sucks, and I couldn't think of a better reason. I mean, we didn't know each other. I was not doing anything offensive. It was so random. It troubled me for the next few days. I was trying to figure out what I've done wrong. Probably because he didn't like the way I dress. Back in the day, I sacked my pants and wearing Jordans and snapback and trying to look black. Or maybe he was in a bad mood because he looked 45, not in a good shape with sloppy outfits. But either way, I didn't deserve that. It might not because of the color of my skin, but I wonder if he would do the same to a white or black college kid. Might because Asian people tend to avoid any trouble, which make us a free emotional dumpster. I found it happens pretty often, like walk in the mall, mind my own business, a lady with a stroller behind me start giving me shit, and be yelling something like, these Chinese people always on my way, learn some manner. Then just pass by me before I even realize what's going on. I mean, I ain't got an eye on the back of my head, and there's plenty of space on the aisle. Stuff like that didn't cause any severe damage to me. All them took were just beers and conversations with my friends. They told me there's a lot of fucked up people in America, and they come with different forms. Just ignore, take it easy on them. I assume they experienced the same before. It might not just be racism. Those people probably just trying to find a way to dump their shit. But what pisses me off is, it seems like Asians are the best dumpster. When people complain in our face, we always think about what we have done wrong in the first place, because in our culture, nobody's being rude for no reason. But it seems like that is not the case for Americans. Y'all motherfuckers are too free to have enough discipline to care about other people's feelings like we do. But I don't blame y'all for that. Like I said, those incidents didn't cause big problems, but keep in mind, the only reason why the situations were not escalated was because of my personal choice. I let them slip. Not because they were not supposed to be a problem, America. Anyway, forget about the weak shit. Let's talk about stuff with severe consequences. When I was a sophomore, I was doing alright academically, especially programming. I got a passion from my grandpa. Got two A's in my first two midterms, and I was well prepared for the last one. When I stepped into the classroom ready to kill the exam, the professor started the post exam analysis. I was like, what the fuck? I asked around, it told me. This time the exam was on Tuesday instead of Thursday. The professor changed the schedule last week and announced it at the beginning of the class. Fuck me, how come I didn't know that? Because my previous class was in another building. I was always late for 5 minutes for this one. So after class, I went to the professor's office, explained my situation, and requested a makeup exam. He refused. Then another white dude came in with the same request, and the same request was accepted. So I wonder why I couldn't have the same opportunity. He told me the white boy got a sick note, but my situation was on me. And I was like, how come sickness is a valid excuse but cultural difference is not? In China, the teacher will do anything to make sure the students know the date of exam. Before the class, during the class, after class. Even if you're sick, you don't show up. They're gonna tell your classmates or your head teacher to let you know. Not being informed is not a student's fault in China. I thought Americans' education is better. I thought you were gonna do at least the same, especially when you change the schedule just a week ahead. If you really don't give a fuck about your students, at least update it on the syllabus. He was shaking his head without that what he believed is right arrogance, so I was like, anyway, how about I give you a signal tomorrow? Then he told me don't even try, cause since I've already told him about my situation with all my honesty, he knew the signal would be fake, so no makeup exam for me. And I almost lost it. I mean, who the fuck knows how that white boy got sick? Maybe a hangover, or maybe he was not prepared at the time, so he made up excuse. Hard to tell. Just because you're white too, so you trust his word? So you don't ask no further questions? Or are you simply trying to sabotage me? Because it seems so convenient considering I'm always late for 5 minutes, which made you feel like I don't show you enough respect. I've already explained, it's not personal, and you're aware of my honesty, but you still don't want to correct yourself? He told me to get out. That caused me my passion for programming. I changed my major later on. Now I look back, I'm glad it happened, even though the unfairness might have originated from racism or ego or a narrow kind of self-principle leading to cultural ignore or whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, it was just an obstacle on my way of pursuing a programmer's life. I didn't choose to overcome it like I should because I didn't want it that much. The passion I had was only my condolence for a person I respected very much. As a digression, I guess that's what makes American education better than Chinese. They give you more challenges while they give you more freedom, instead of restrictions and responsibilities. That's how you have the opportunity to truly explore what's really worth it, by overcoming what's on your way. Besides school, I've been in jail before. I was guilty for possession of marijuana and two other felonies related to marijuana. Couldn't recall them. At the end of the day, I had weed on me. I grew 2 plants of weed in my apartment, and my bail was 25 grand. A brother locked up with me was sentenced 1 year or something, only for possession of marijuana. First timer. Another white boy with the same crime, possessed even more quantity, not the first time, was sentenced for 3 days of detention. After the court date, he was immediately released, while the brothers couldn't even make it to the court within 3 days. These shits all happen in Iowa, and to me it's a backward state where civilization doesn't give a fuck about besides their core. As for college, they're just trying to rip off international students. They take the money and they're not responsible for us anymore. They take us, but they don't take the culture we came from as consideration. Meanwhile, I've met a lot of good people too, people with empathy and respect the difference. I've been to other cities too, different city, different vibe. The United States cannot be generalized. In China, we don't have racism, but ageism, sexism, egoism, geographical discrimination, moral bias, those are as bad as racism. There's people always trying to find a way to give you inconvenience in every culture. Race is just one of their approaches, just like age and sex and what I mentioned were not mentioned. Discrimination is what appears to be. What's inside is they don't like you, mostly because they don't like themselves. It's a side effect of a free country. People are afraid to show their ass too. I would take it any day over restrictions and oppression because there's also a lot of good people deserve freedom.